Hello and good morning. I say good morning and it's 12 o'clock in the morning. I do my best to be quiet, but I'll do my best. So today, what we're talking about is quantum entanglement. And I know it doesn't really fit the theme of the channel, because this is a metaphysical channel. Why are we talking about actual physics? Yeah, no, that's cranked way the fuck up. Okay. Alright, whatever. So I'm going to introduce a concept called the fifth dimensional washing machine. Now what is that, you ask? That would be us. We are the fifth dimensional washing machine. So also, I am not a doctor. I do not have a PhD. I am simply a man on a computer. So when I say to you, I kind of know what I'm saying, but at the same time, it's mainly from my perspective of what's happened to me. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what I'm talking about. This is just something I feel like I have to talk on, because it's something I personally did. Alright, so you got this sweet looking thing here. God, I forgot what the name was. We're gonna sit here while I Google search it because I did not prepare. The Lemon Skate. The Lazy 8. The Lemon Skate. Well, this here is us. Well, sort of. It's the world we live in. So let's say the lemon scale. I know that's not what it is, but I'm going to call it the lemon scale. Lost my train of thought. Hold on, I'm trying to get it back together. This big squiggly spooge. Your reality. Okay? That is the squiggly spooge. Now, let's go off the premise that life is the Matrix, and it really is a simulation. Well, most people think in the terms of Star Trek. You get the simulation room where it's a sphere or a square, and within that confined space, you get dimension. You stand in the middle, and the world around you gets generated. And you stay in the middle and walk through reality as it generates in front of you and dissipates behind you. That's one theory. I believe that, but at the same time, the shape is not a sphere. It is the lemon scale. And you're like, what do you mean? What's your premise? Well, again, I can't really explain it. I'm not a physicist. But let's say, for instance, this is you. This is me. This is us. Now pretend that we don't notice we're in this middle crux. To us, from our perspective, it literally looks like a box. So 1D, one perspective, straightforward. One line, linear. That is why time seems linear. However, because we are only looking forward, this is how we are perceiving time. You move forward, and then it just stops, and then starts back over. We're aware of the 24 hours a day, or the quote-unquote 24 hours a day. However, I believe us to actually be moving like this. Whoops. So we are actually moving linear, not linear, on the crux. And then every day, the cycle is completed, and you return back to point zero. And that is your day. You have completed a cycle. However, the reason it seems linear is in the process, our focal point is directed, or a focus is directed. So we can only see, it's almost like tunnel vision, a warp tunnel vision. There is tunnel vision around us. So while we are moving through time and space, we cannot perceive the other time and space. However, those who watch Doctor Who are aware he doesn't call it a line. He calls it a fabric. The fabric of reality. Well, let's see what a fabric looks like. We'll just draw us a towel here. Well, look at that. It's not linear. Sure, it's got lines. And then you can take that, and guess what? Wrap it into a sphere. That's right. Time and space are one dimension. Or a dimension in on itself. That is why if you crunch space and you move it in on itself, it takes less time. Okay? So to get point A to point B, it's less time because space shrunk in on itself. Alright, so now let's say, what is quantum entanglement? Well, that, in my personal opinion, is when the fabric rolls and folds to where the lines meet up and the points intersect. Okay, now let's get crazy. Quantum entanglement continues with the old adage, or whatever, I don't know what the hell you call it. Those who haven't heard of it, it's a thing called Schrodinger's cat. It's a physics idea on how quantum reality works. Say you've got this sick-ass dope little box here, okay? You got this little square box. Alright. This is reality. Okay? Reality is currently being perceived as a three-dimensional cube. Well, then you get I swear to God I can draw. Just not at 12 o'clock in the morning. You got this cute-ass cat. And then we're gonna take this cute-ass cat and cram it in this fucking box here. Okay? Now this is where quantum reality shifts. So we have this item in a unknown space. And since we cannot perceive it, we have no idea what's going on. So reality suggests that the cat is now dead or alive. But since we cannot perceive it, and reality is based off perception, the cat is now both dead and alive until reality perceives it differently. So now we got this cat who literally got split into two cats. Well, you know what? Let's actually do this. So now you've got two separate cats, even though it's the same cat. It's just different states of the cat. So now here, this is where it gets really crazy. So let's go ooh, not that one. Let's go back to this one. Okay. So now I'm this kitty cat. Meow. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Alright, say we got this kitty cat. I'm the cat. Now I have actually done this. One of the examples was one of my old managers. We worked at a CC's together. We both lived in the same city together. And we both worked the same shift. However, I somehow got there the same time every day before him. Now he swore up and down he left at the same time I did. It's basically a math problem. We sat there and said, look, we leave at the same time. Pending you don't get gas, we should get there at the same time. I always got there 15 minutes earlier than him. Now again, you could always say, sure, maybe I was leaving 5 minutes after and that 5-minute deviation really made the difference. Say whatever the hell you want. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because during that time frame, I had considered quantum physics. I was like, well, if you can actually shorten, are you ready for this? You can actually shorten the distance in your mind, then it warps speed in reality. Okay? The reason that is because space and time is just energy. And if we are able to manipulate energy, then we are able to manipulate time. For instance, right now, I have given myself space. You take off and give yourself space. It seems like time goes on forever. However, you shrink down the space and your day goes by quicker. So while I'm on my way to work, I essentially imagine myself shrinking the space between me and my job. And then I would actually doze off and drive. Now you can sit there and say whatever the hell you want. Fine. Explain it away. This is all just theoretical anyways, right? But let me propose something even crazier. Alright, so we got this quantum kitty, whoops, who is both states, which results in a quantum field. Okay, so the very fact that this creature can exist in the two states at the same time is what's actually creating the quantum field. Is because the two opposing, yeah, that sounds right, opposing, the two opposing perspectives collide and create a quantum shift. So now, this is the interesting part. What if the cat was actually sentient? Now, what if this cat is aware it is in time and space, and it is in this quantum setting? So the cat is currently existing in the quantum space, and it is aware it exists in the quantum space. So what is the general rule of the game? The big rule is when you realize it's a game, the game changes, because the rules change. So now we got this conscious kitty who is aware that it exists and does not exist. So now if it can consciously warp that, what if it decides to exist over here? And then what if it decides to exist over here? But then all in the same time, it exists over there. So now, you are quantumly split into two. However, let's get even crazier. What if uh, now what if the kitty cat, stay with me, what if the kitty cat became even more self-aware? It's like, how does that even make any sense? Okay, well, if you want it to make sense, so now you got cat A, you got cat B, and then this is where it gets crazy, cat C. Cat C is the box. So now this kitty cat actually realized it is not just here and there, but it is the box itself. Which then breaks reality further. Because then if it realizes it is the box itself, it does not need to contain itself inside itself. If that made any sense. So if you realize that state of mind is it's literally just myself in a bigger version of myself, then you can literally break physics. Because as of this point, quantum is on a scale so small it's microcosmic. So it's energy vibrating on the microcosm scale. Okay? When it's that small, like you can't, you vibrate so fast that you can actually vibrate yourself out of existence and in and out of existence because you realized that you're vibrating. That's all it is. Okay? Now what's caused me to come to this realization is on my spiritual, this is how it ties into spiritual. So on my spiritual journey, and I didn't realize it until like literally months later, maybe even years, is some of my YouTubers, my guides were telling me it's okay to pause the work and rest. But I didn't get what they were saying. My human kept pausing. I would lay down, I would take naps. I even got to the point it's like, okay, I don't have to do something every moment of the day. But I was still being told to rest. I was like, I don't understand. What do you mean? Well, it turns out quantum atom, which is your inner spirit, your true essence, while I was sleeping, physical atom was sleeping, you had quantum atom, the spirit, enter time and space. However, they enter it through the etheric realm, which is, are you guys ready for this? Another dimension layered on top of time and space itself. So it's almost like 3 dimensions in one. Okay. So now you got this etheric realm, which is the energy or the upside down version of the 3D. So essentially, what happens here actually has direct correlation to what happens here. Quote unquote, quantum entanglement. So apparently, even though my 3D self was taking a break, my quantum self was zipping all across the etheric realm, trying to heal and fix and patch and do all this crazy shit. In fact, I think I even pushed myself to the point that I started expanding even further. And then there were multiple versions of me running around. Okay? Now imagine this. Those versions all running around now, doing work. Yada yada yada, yada yada yada. Now are you ready? Reality is binary codes. Ones and zeros. That's when the matrix comes in. Reality is really just an algorithmic code. And the way the binary code works is 0, 1s, 10s, thousands. Okay? And every time this number ticks up to 1, that's 1. But then when it rolls over and ticks up to this one, that becomes 10. So on, so forth. And that is how 1s and 0s calculate and govern our world. However, quantum entanglement comes in. And now you got this person flying around here adding 2s into your binary code. Now, we're still talking on metaphysics and theoretical physics here. So what would happen if you started introducing a foreign object to your code? Your code would attempt to rewrite it and fix it if it was able to. If not, it just straight up crashes. Okay? And now you've got these 2s floating around space, causing quantum crashes and holes in reality. Okay? So now we've effectively broken reality. So now the quantum entanglement gets completed when all of those versions of yourself shrink back and collapse into yourself. Thus, collapsing the timelines back into one. Now again, here's the interesting part. And this is something I have done numerous times, is you can actually go back and collapse your timeline on whatever fixed point you wanted to. So you go out, learn this information from the etheric realm and other timelines, go back up into the etheric realm, and then consolidate all of that information into one timeline. How I know this is because I have had deja vu so fucking much that I feel like I'm going insane. I have relived days and days before. Luckily, I have never been stuck in a loop. Not that crazy. It does not take me that long to learn these lessons. However, I have definitely had to repeat some days, maybe even weeks, more than once. To the point that it actually started to degrade my mental state. And what I mean is, when you exist in multiple timelines, everything gets skewed. So I have customers walking in. I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing today? I haven't seen you in a while. And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? This is the first time I've walked in the store. And I'm literally like, no. You walked in the other day and you returned your Amazon. And I would go into detail and tell them exactly. And they're like, no, I didn't. But I'm doing that today. And I'm just like, oh, well, this is weird. A little awkward. Sorry about that. And it finally makes sense. This is why I know this is what's going on, is it actually finally triggered and clicked in my brain. That is why I have insomnia. Because I'm not really sleeping. God. So now they're saying rest. It's like, okay. So Quantum Atom, I'm going to need you to do me a favor and slow down. Why don't you just curl on up the etheric plane? Huh? Grab yourself a nice electric sheep and just take a nap. That's the only download you need. Oh, but the reason I called it the fifth dimensional washing machine is because while I am out on that etheric loop, this karmic cycle continues. This loop that we call time loops, as I said, because we are supposed to learn lessons during this time frame. However, because I was impatient, I jumped across multiple timelines and collapsed them into one, thus consolidating multiple lessons into one. I do not recommend it because guess what? What happens when a star explodes in on itself? That rubber band snaps back. Okay? When you're done with all that energetic work and you're done flying around, you're tired. You're tired as fuck. You are absolutely wiped out. And then that is when this rest comes in that I have been told about. Because now your human needs actual time to integrate everything that your soul has been doing. It needs time to catch up. Because the 3D can't move as fast as the 5D. It's stuck, grounded in time and space, constricted by the rules of gravity and the rules of space. Gravity came out of nowhere, but gravity actually is in direct correlation to time as well, time and space. So, but that's actually getting into the whole physics. So when reality shrinks, get ready for an ass kicking, because it's literally space collapsing in on itself. All right. So if you're going to do this, give yourself the proper break. Now see, I didn't know I was doing this. Okay, I didn't know. Now I do. So now, Adam, get your ass to bed and sleep. No flying around the etheric zone. No working on yourself. Go to bed. Okay? That's great. You do good things. You do good work. The 3D Adam gets grouchy when no sleep. Please sleep. Adam, sleep. Well, there's your lesson on quantum physics and how it ties into spirituality. I'm going to go to bed. Have a good night. Okay, I'm just gonna let it flow. It's kind of getting weird. I got more of a download on this specific topic. I actually thought this message was over. But there seems to be something I forgot. I really hope I'm not wrong about this because I'm going to sound like an idiot, but that's okay. So as we were talking about the quantum energy field and the 5D washing machine, as I called it, I don't think I even got to the point as to why I called it that. So it's a 5D washing machine because while we're in this, so this, if you actually want to go all 3D, would look something along the lines of this. Okay? Oh, fuck. And a shape that is able to wrap in on itself tends to be in the fifth dimension. There is no beginning, there is no end. There is just shape. I swear I can draw. Anyways, so it's actually a fifth dimensional pocket, right? So within this pocket, we're floating around. We're this little singularity point, just floating about, doing its thing. The one thing I forgot to say though was our aura field, our auric field. Our aura has been determined as a invisible or quote unquote invisible energy field that is around us. To those who can see it, it is actually a radio or a TV of sorts. It broadcasts things to the world around it. That is actually, let's put it this way. Your auric field is your quantum entanglement field. Okay? Let's go back to earlier when I said the etheric realm is a layer that is ghosting or resting on top of the rest of reality. Okay? And then in this etheric or energetic field or dimension, you actually have access to manipulate the 3D. So the 5D sends down energy to the 3D. And the 5D is where the code is being written. Okay? So you go up into the 5D, and you get all this code written up there, and then you come back down to the 3D and you take it with you, and you manifest it into the 3D. Well, the reason this is possible is because of the aura field. It is a data system. You ready? Our auric fields are data systems, fifth dimensional data systems. Okay? It projects whatever is in your auric field. And what is in your auric field is based off how you think, how you feel, how your human runs. But we are not aware of this. So our energy field is just putting out whatever. Whatever we feel, whatever we think. And that, living without intention, is keeping us trapped in this fifth dimensional pocket. Okay? So as you notice, I am actually going backwards this time. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm actually going backwards this time. And the reason that be is because there's something they don't want you to know is the Ice Age was actually them shifting the Earth. We're going to get even crazier. So the Ice Age happened back in the olden days because they turned the Earth the wrong direction. Pretend, for instance, it would spin this direction. Everything's all squeaky clean. The Earth is flowing naturally. However, The beings that decided to run Earth wanted to experiment and change some stuff. And in my mind, this was actually intentional and bad. It was on purpose. What they did was they actually stopped the Earth and reset it. They stopped the spinning of the Earth. Now, I think it may have actually been an accident. I don't know. Maybe it was on purpose, because I feel like part of it was on purpose. Because after the axis of the Earth got shifted, now time is flowing in a different direction. What I mean is, so in my mind, the way time actually works is you got your little orange bubble around you as your auric field, right? No. Okay. Time is the perception of this auric field intermingling with the fifth dimension. Okay? That is where we get our sense of what is called time. However, since the natural, which is represented by green, is the natural flow of the Earth, it got disturbed. And you know what happens? The world actually froze over. Hell literally froze. And the Earth died. Everything on there died. They fucked it up, and they had to restart the Earth again. It's not the first time, alright? However, they had realized what they did, and there's no way to fix it without effing everything up again. So now the Earth is rotating on the wrong axis. And because of that, our quantum fields get kerfucked. So now we are actually going in the wrong direction. And we are getting some massive resistance because the flow of life and time got screwed up. Okay? So now, what we do is people like me, and I don't know how I did this. I'm not trying to take this from an ego point. I honestly have no effing clue how I did any of this. Or not at my current state. But when you get, and I'm going to just blame it, I'm going to say, it's the autistic energy. I'm going to say autistic energy is actually quantum energy, because you vibrate at a different frequency. So whatever the case is, whether I'm actually right or wrong, people vibrate, become glitches or twos, if you would, and they binary code of ones and zeros. These twos, their auric fields aren't behaving like they should. So now you got these weirdos effing up your system. Okay? So you've got this strange flow of life, and now you got these other people that already naturally disrupt the flow. Because they are not in syncopation with the Earth and the reality around it. But guess what? That's part of the point. The reason I am able to do quantum leaping and quantum entanglement is because of the auric field I have. It exists in multiple dimensions, multiple time. My energy is scattered across the etheric plane, in a sense. It's kind of all over the place. And because of that, I can perceive the glitches in reality. Okay? So, raising your vibration, raising your auric field, raising your quantum field actually slows you down, believe it or not. So after the world was spinning the wrong direction, I gotta wonder if it's sped up. Because now, we're in this field of zippity 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 zip. Society is speeding up, everything's getting faster, go, 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 go. The energy of the Earth itself is speeding up. So, becoming in alignment with yourself, and your natural energy, which, are you ready for this, was the natural energy of the original Earth before they effed it up. So now you're coming back to your original energy by bouncing around in this fifth dimensional quantum tube. Because as you ping pong off these walls, you get life lessons. Bink, oh, I just learned a life lesson. Bink, oh, I just learned a life lesson. Bink, oh, I just learned another one. So when you begin the quantum entanglement, you actually pull yourself out of the cycle completely. Because it's like, oh, wait, hold on. I've got to learn this lesson. Let's go back to this exact point in time and reset it. And now I'm going to learn that lesson, and then I'm going to pick up from there and continue. Oh, wait, I just missed another lesson. Let's go back, reset time, and fix it. We are literally changing the fabric of reality with our internal energy. So as you tweak your quantum energy, you will actually notice time gets displaced. That is how we go back in the past or pause time and say, okay, I need to go back and learn this lesson. Let's just pause. I'm going to pause time at this point right here. And you know what? I'm going to sit here until I learn this lesson, and I will quantum leap back and back and back as many times as it takes for me to learn this lesson. Okay? That is what quantum entanglement is. It is raising your vibration to continue raising your vibration. Because once that snowball starts going down, you ain't got a choice. Your field of quantum entanglement is just all over the place. It's like a fucking octopus. This is how I feel. It's like, oops, shifted the whole reality again. My bad. That's how I feel. After you syncopate your frequency, you become one with the system. You synchronize with reality itself, and you no longer need, to quantum jump or quantum leap. Because everything has been collapsed into one single timeline. And that is part of remembering your wholeness. That is what we forget. Okay? They pull you out, they put you in this little bubble, and they say, this is your bubble. Don't leave bubble. Don't leave. This is yours. You're stuck inside bubble. But then you realize you're in the bubble. And you're like, oh, fuck, I can do whatever I want. Yep. So now reality is mine. That's basically the story. Reality is mine. Or at least my reality is. So here's the other thing is, even though I'm quantumly entangled, I am only able to affect myself. Well, consciously, yes. Now that I know I can quantum leap and jump, if I so chose, I could actually be the jumper and go back and forth and try to repair reality itself. However, I ain't gonna do that. Y'all fix your own shit. I've been busy fixing mine. Okay? You learn how to quantum jump yourself. I ain't fixing everyone's timeline. Barely just fixed mine.